Okay, good morning class. Today, we are going to finish, the last part of the cell membrane. Remember the structure of the cell membrane, the function of the cell membrane, and the linkage between the structure and the function of the cell membrane. So let's have a quick revision, for the cell membrane composition. Cell membrane is composed of the phospholipid bilayer. Remember that the head, the tail, and the head. And also the proteins. So for the phospholipid bilayer, remember that we have the head. And the head we can describe it as a hydrophilic. That means water-loving, right? And also the tail, the fatty acid tail. And we call it hydrophobic tail. That means they hate water. They are afraid of water. 中意水嘅。And the head 咧，and the head 佢哋中意水嘅。So it's for the phospholipid and for the proteins part. Remember that. For the protein, we can use the word mosaic. To describe the arrangement pattern of the proteins. Some are on the surface of the cell membrane. Some are span through the cell membrane. And some they are halfly embedded. In the cell membrane in the phospholipid bilayer. So now I give you 5 minutes, to copy this cell membrane model, the phospholipid bilayer and also the proteins, on your notebook. So open your notebook, turn it around， 轉翻90度角，咁打橫嚟抄翻，咁我俾翻5分鐘你哋抄翻佢。咁抄完之後咧，after you copy the structure of the cell membrane, and then we go on, our topic. So after copying the phospholipid bilayer and also the protein arrangement, let's talk about, do some revision for the fluid mosaic model of the cell membrane. Remember that if we talk about the fluid property of the cell membrane, what do we need to describe is that the phospholipid molecules, these two phospholipid molecules, they can move, laterally. 佢哋係可以橫向咁樣移動嘅 ，move laterally. So that's why you can refer to your book, page 3. You can see the picture, you can see the diagram, on the bottom, and find that the phospholipid molecules, they can move laterally. That's the first part, to give the cell membrane, a flexibility. And also for the mosaic, remember that the last lesson we talked about the church. The window of the church. Probably the glasses is in the mosaic model. To make an image of the Jesus Christ. Or any other else. So for the mosaic, it's used to describe the arrangement. Of the proteins. So at this moment you can also refer to the word in page 3. The protein molecules are interspersed. Or are distributed. In a random arrangement, in a random pattern. 真係亂咁擺嘅啫。好似砌嗰啲石板街嗰個樓梯，就係冚落去。But of course, we have some major arrangement pattern. But in this case, we use mosaic, to describe the arrangement first. And then, you can turn to page 5. You can turn to page 5. To take a look, Remember the first paragraph of the proteins. That means we are going to talk about the mosaic model again. Remember that we have, the major arrangement pattern of the protein on the cell membrane. One of them, you can refer to the first paragraph. One is attached on the surface. Remember, the protein can be on the outer surface. Or the inner surface. Once it is the surface, the protein can attach on it. And also, the point is that the protein can spanning through the cell membrane. But probably, some can spanning through completely. But some they are halfly embedded. 入咗少少，但係又入唔晒。但係呢一個咧就入得晒嘅。So we can divide it into 2 types. In last lesson, okay, we just talked about the surface protein and also the spanning through protein. Okay? But in this lesson, we can divide the spanning through into another class. Okay? It's halfly embedded. 浸咗一半 ，OK， 埋藏咗一半，但係就冇埋藏到另一半 ，OK。So it's so called halfly embedded， 浸住一半嘅啫，你見得到，下面就冇嘅 ，OK。So can this protein, OK, be arranged in here? That means in the inner surface. Of course it can, OK. So remember that no matter in surface, OK, no matter it's halfly embedded， 浸住一半 ，OK。So it can be on the outer surface, okay, but also the inner surface. So, after doing the revision, okay, let's do some highlighting on the book. Okay, so first, turn to page 5, okay, of your books and look for the first paragraph about the proteins, okay, on the phospholipid bilayer. And in this paragraph, okay, you look for the blue word, 嗰啲藍色嗰啲字啊 okay, and highlight the protein arrangement, okay, the mosaic protein arrangement, okay, in the phospholipid bilayer. So first of all, okay, as I said before, okay, attached to the surfaces, okay, both surface, inner and outer. And also, okay, they can be embedded halfway, halfly embedded, 浸住咗一半 okay? And also, okay, the protein can be spanning through the entire bilayer. Remember that, okay, you are not going to, okay, just memorize these 3 protein arrangements, okay? You also need to know why they are arranged in such pattern, okay? Why are they on the surface? Okay? Why are they spanning through the bilayer? And why are they just maybe halfly embedded in the bilayer? Okay? And what's the difference between this protein and this protein? Okay? They are also spanning through the bilayer, right? So, how's the difference? Okay? Are they performing or carrying out the same function, or they add a little bit different? 佢哋都係貫穿晒喎。咁有冇咩分別呢？定係都係做同一樣嘅嘢呢 ？Okay, so that's something we need to study. That's something we need to investigate. Okay, in this part. So after highlighting, okay, attached to the surface, embedded halfly, and spanning through the anti-bilayer. Okay, I would like to introduce another word. Okay, for the proteins. Okay, so for the simple protein, 好似淨係一嚿蛋白質。Okay. Attached to the surface of the cell membrane. Okay, what I want to tell you is that a one new substance. Okay, so refer to the first paragraph. Okay, look for the last word. Okay, we have a new word, glycoprotein. Okay, glycoprotein. So in this case, glycoprotein. I would like to tell you that, okay, we can also separate this word in 2 parts, okay, for easier memory. Okay, protein, these molecules, you see? And for the glyco, okay, glyco is the prefix, the prefix of carbohydrates, 碳水化合物, okay? So for this word, you can know that glycoproteins should be a combination of carbohydrates and the protein. Okay, so in this case, you can modify the diagram you draw. Okay, on your notebook. Okay, so we have a protein here. Okay, so what is the glycoprotein? Okay, we can just simply add a carbohydrate chain. Okay, on it, 好似棵樹咁樣嘅。Okay, and this tree, so-called tree, is the carbohydrates. Okay, this part is the carbohydrates. And this part is the protein, okay? And the whole structure, okay? And we call it glycoprotein, okay? So that's the first part, okay? And then you need to know what are the functions of this glycoprotein. Why do we need to add a tree on that? Okay? 點解要無啦啦加棵樹上去咧？要加個 carbohydrate 上去咧？ We need to know why. Okay, so that means we are going to link, okay, going to link the structures and the functions of the cell membrane together. Okay, that will be our focus. Okay, in this lesson. So after the glycoproteins, okay, carbohydrate plus the proteins, okay, we are now going to talk about furthermore, okay, the membrane proteins, okay. And why do we use the word membrane protein, okay, to describe these proteins? Because they exist, okay, in the cell membrane, okay, in different types of arrangement, no matter it's on the surface, halfway embedded, or even spanning through the cell membrane. Okay, so we call it membrane protein specifically. Okay, 咁叫佢做細胞膜嘅蛋白質，就唔係就咁樣叫蛋白質。Okay, not just a simple protein. Okay, but the membrane protein. So you can refer to the table. Okay, in on page 5. Okay, the table we talk about the membrane protein, and there are 5 types of them. Okay. Remember that later, okay, after this table, we are going to link the structures, okay, that is the membrane protein, and also the functions, okay, together. So now we know the terms first, and then we know their functions. In last lesson, okay, we talk about the antigens and the receptors, okay. A quick reminder for you guys, for the antigens, okay, you can highlight in the table, okay, is for cell recognition. 一個細胞嘅適應 ，OK， 適應啲咩咧 ？OK for cell recognition that means okay in simple case when a bacterial cell 細菌嘅細胞 when a bacterial cell enters our body OK so our immune system 個免疫系統 OK for example the white blood cell 白血球 OK the white blood cell has to fight against the bacteria but the point is that how can they recognize okay it's the bacterial cell and it's the muscle cell it's ours okay it's our cell okay it's our friend okay and we will not fight against the muscle cells but only fight against the bacterial cells okay so that's the concept of antigens okay for cell recognition okay is it the self okay 你自己 or the foreign okay remember that 自己定係人哋 okay so antigens and also the receptors okay receptor in last lesson we talked about it okay probably most likely the receptor okay they always exist okay on the surface okay 通常講係表面嘅 the surface of the phospholipid bilayer okay so they can receive the chemical messengers inside our body okay so you can also highlight the point on the fourth one okay that means the receptors okay they are the glycoproteins for receiving chemical messengers for example hormones in last lesson we talked about the growth hormone 成長嘅激素 okay so if the cell okay it lacks 佢欠缺咗 it lacks the receptor maybe for the growth hormone okay so probably the cells even the whole tissue okay it cannot grow okay it cannot grow anymore because it cannot receive the growth hormone it cannot receive the signal tell you to grow okay so that's the importance okay of the antigens and also the receptors okay and we know that okay the membrane protein okay they should carry out a very specific function so that's why the arrangement even their structure okay are a little bit different okay I repeat because they will carry out different functions 做唔同嘅嘢 so their structures 佢哋嘅結構 and their arrangement 佢哋嘅擺位 okay should be a little bit different okay so that's the point and also okay now I'm going to talk about the enzymes okay this word okay we talk about it for many times and in chapter 4 okay in chapter 4 we are going to talk about the enzymes okay enzymes are the chemicals okay can speed up the chemical reaction okay and one reminder for this part okay in this table you know that there are membrane proteins in the cell membrane so if one type of the membrane protein is enzyme so if someone asks you what is the nature okay of the enzyme okay the nature of the enzyme. So probably, okay, if you are asked the nature of the enzyme, so this question is just like, how can we make enzyme? Okay, what is the enzyme made up of? 我哋係點樣整個 enzyme 出嚟 ？What's the nature of the enzyme and how can we make the enzyme? According to this table, we know that it's a kind of membrane protein. So the nature of the enzyme is protein. 佢就係蛋白質啦。Okay. So in chapter 4, okay, maybe I will not repeat this part, okay, for a long time and for many times, okay, because you know that enzymes are proteins, okay. So remember that to speed up the chemical reaction in our cells, okay, no matter it's on the surface, okay, or in the inner surface, okay, outer and inner, okay, they can also speed up. Okay, and for the detailed example, okay, any specific example, we will talk about it later, okay, but at least at this moment, you know that the enzyme, okay, they can appear in the membrane, okay, in the cell membrane, and they can speed up the chemical reactions, okay. So that's the last 3 types, okay, of the membrane protein. And now I'm going to talk about the first 2 types, okay, the channel proteins and the carrier proteins, okay? Make sure that the name is channel proteins and carrier proteins, okay? Don't just tell it, okay, or simplify it, or reverse the order intentionally and say it, oh, we have protein channel, okay, in the cell membrane, and we have protein carrier in the cell membrane. No, okay? Channel protein, carrier protein. Okay, remember the name first. Okay, I will talk about it later. Okay, so we have the channel and also the carrier proteins. Okay, both of them are spanning through the bilayer. 佢哋都係貫穿晒咧成個嘅 cell membrane 嘅。Okay, so that's why, okay, I mentioned before the structure and also the arrangement of the proteins, of the membrane proteins, okay, 佢哋嘅結構，佢哋嘅擺位 ，okay, of the membrane proteins, it affects the functions, okay, of them. So for these 2 cases, channel protein or carrier protein, okay, you can highlight some keywords, okay, for that. For the channel proteins, okay, refer to the table, okay, go back to the page 5 of the table, okay. Channel proteins, they provide channel across the cell membrane for transporting, okay, for transporting what? Okay, we will talk about it later, but at least for transporting something through the membrane, okay, in or out, okay, across the membrane, okay, and also the carrier proteins, okay, they are involved in active transport, okay, we will talk about it later, okay, it's a kind of transport, okay, inside into or out of the cell, okay. So the point is that they are involved in the active transport to carry substance across the membrane as well. So no matter it's channel proteins or the carrier protein, okay, because the arrangement, okay, their arrangement, okay, is spanning through the cell membrane. So they can help us to transport something, okay, maybe in, maybe out of the cell, okay. So you know that the arrangement, okay, the structure, okay, of the membrane protein. Okay, so after talking about the membrane proteins, okay, the 5 types of membrane proteins, okay. So now we are going to talk about how can we relate, how can we link the membrane structure, okay, to its functions or the features, okay. 咁究竟我哋知道咗 cell membrane 嘅特性啊，或者佢個結構啊，okay 之後啦，佢有咩功能做得到嘅咧 ？okay， 同埋點解咧 ？So let's turn to page 6， 第6頁 ，okay page 6。So you look for the point number 1, okay, under the part B. How is the membrane structure related to his properties and functions. Okay, remember that structure, functions, and we need to link them together. Okay, so for the point number 1, okay, as we say it for many times, okay, cell membrane, okay, we can use this term, differentially permeable, 差異透性, okay, to describe, okay, the feature or the characteristic of the cell membrane, 佢嘅特性, okay. But what's the meaning, okay, of the differentially permeable, okay? In chapter 2, okay, I always say that, if the cell membrane, okay, if we say it is differentially permeable, 差異透性, that means something can pass through the membrane, but something cannot pass through the membrane, okay, some can and some cannot, okay, so we can find some difference, okay, between different molecules, okay. So in this part, okay, in chapter 3, we talk about, okay, how can they, okay, how can the molecules, 嗰啲分子, okay, how can the molecules be differentiated, okay. So we have 2 aspects. One is the size. That means, are they small enough or are they just so big? Okay, too big to pass through the cell membrane. Okay, 大細粒. And also the nature, okay, of the molecules, okay, of the substance we are going to study. So for the nature, okay, these two words again. One is polar, 有極性. That means 有 charge 嘅. Okay, it has charge. Maybe positive, maybe negative. Okay, that's fine. But they are polar. And non-polar, 冇極性. Okay, that means they don't have charge. Okay, and I will explain these 2 words a little bit more. Okay, apart from the hydrophilic and hydrophobic. Okay, for the polar, we can say that is hydrophilic, right? Okay. For the non-polar, okay, just like we use non-polar to describe the hydrophobic tail, okay? So polar means hydrophilic, non-polar means hydrophobic, okay? And these 2 terms, okay, we can use, okay, either one of them. And we shall talk about others, okay? So probably, okay, we focus on the phospholipid molecules first. That means the phospholipid bilayer, 球腳腳球, okay? So the point is that what things, okay, can pass through the phospholipid bilayer directly, okay? I mean really directly, okay, pass through the phospholipid bilayer, okay? That means some can and some cannot, okay, to indicate the differential permeability, okay, of the cell membrane. So refer to the point number 1, okay, on your page 6, okay. You can see that, take out a highlight pen, okay. The phospholipid bilayer is permeable to non-polar substance. Okay, the phospholipid bilayer is permeable to the non-polar substance. Okay, for example, okay, what kind of substance? Okay, they have no charge. They have no charge. Oxygen, okay, and carbon dioxide, okay, they are non-polar. Meanwhile, they are also small. Okay, so you can see that if something is very small, okay, and they are non-polar, okay, they can easily pass through the cell membrane, okay, the phospholipid bilayer. But why? Okay, we need to recall, okay, the 2 simple concepts, okay, we talked in last lesson, okay, which are polar likes polar, and non-polar likes non-polar. Okay, remember that polar, okay, we can use, do they have charge, okay, or do they love water, okay, to describe polar or non-polar, okay. So for polar, water loving, okay, non-polar, water fearing, okay. So the point is that if something which is non-polar, and in the phospholipid bilayer, we can see that the hydrophobic tail, okay, is very, very long, and also they do not like water, okay? So, they don't like water, and you don't like water as well. So, probably, you two can attract each other, okay? But you may ask this question for the head. Mr. Leung, the hydrophilic head, okay? Hydrophilic head doesn't like the non-polar things, okay? But the point is that if we compare the hydrophilic head and the hydrophobic tail, okay, the actual size should be like that. The hydrophilic head, this size, and the hydrophobic tail, this size. So probably you can see that the phosphate group, the hydrophilic head, the phosphate head is very, very small, and the hydrophobic tail is very, very long. So even something is hydrophobic, or we can say non-polar, they can easily pass through the hydrophilic head because it is just too small to stop you. Okay? So that's the case for the non-polar substance. Okay, of course, small and non-polar. Okay? So how about the large one? Okay? Large substance, we will talk about it later. Okay? But at this moment, you know something small and non-polar, they can easily pass through directly. Okay? The phospholipid bilayer. Okay? So after that, okay, small and non-polar, okay, let's talk about another thing, okay, so we go to point number 2, okay, also page 6, number 2. The phospholipid bilayer is impermeable, but somehow, okay, is impermeable to polar substance, okay, and ions. Ions 係嗰啲離子, okay, ions has charge. If we said that ions have charge, okay, maybe positive, maybe negative. So probably for the ions, they are polar, alright? Okay, they have charge. And also, okay, if we said that they are the polar substance, okay, and also imply that, okay, imply that they are hydrophilic, okay, they love water, okay, they love water. So in this case, okay, according to these two principles, okay, polarized polar and non-polarized non-polar, okay. So we know that if we have something, even it is very small, okay, but it's polar, okay, just like a water molecules, okay, just like a water molecules. Can the water molecules very small, okay, but it's polar? Okay, or an iron, okay, just like maybe the calcium ion or the sodium ion, whatever, okay, or the potassium one, K, okay, it has the positive charge, okay. Don't ask me why potassium is one positive charge, okay, I won't answer you. Okay, so water molecules, polar, small. Potassium ion, small, polar. Okay, same things, okay, size and nature, okay, small and polar. So can they directly, okay, pass through the phospholipid bilayer? Sorry, they cannot. Why? Okay, probably you may ask me, Mr. Leung, hydrophilic head, okay, hydrophilic head, polarized or polar, you said that, okay, so hydrophilic head, like polar things, it's very long, okay? So probably it can pass through. Sorry, remember that the hydrophilic head is very, very small, but the hydrophobic tail is very, very long. So the case is that even your friend invites you, okay, to go to or to visit his home, but probably your friend, of course, he loves you, okay? But his parents, okay, they don't like you. So the point is that even you are attracted by the hydrophilic head, but the tail, they don't like you at all. So you cannot directly pass through the phospholipid bilayer。OK， 因為啦，始終佢係 polar， 即使個頭都係 polar 都好啦，大家互相吸引 ，OK 啱嘅。但係隻腳唔係啊嘛，隻腳係 non-polar 嘅 ，polar 係唔會中意 non-polar 係唔會中意 polar 嘅嘢噶嘛。OK，so probably the water or the ions they cannot pass through the phospholipid bilayer directly. OK，so it's for number 2. OK。So probably, it stimulates, us to think water is very important. We learn it in Form 3. Water is the primary food substance, right? If you don't drink water, even there is water inside your cell, but the water molecules cannot enter your cell, you still die hard. 你都係死嘅啫。So the point is that by this model, probably we have just said that the water molecules cannot directly pass through the phospholipid bilayer. But actually we need water to survive. The cells need water to survive. So how can they get into our cell or get out of our cell, if necessary. So that's why we have talked about the channel protein or the carrier proteins. So just take a look for point 2, point number 2. So small and polar molecules, for example, water and glucose, and certain ions, they are polar, move across the cell membrane. How? Through the channel protein or the carrier protein. So remember that. How can we link or relate the structure and the function of the cell membrane together, but not just memorize. There are channel protein in the cell membrane, there are carrier protein in the cell membrane. I know, you know, but what? So the point is that try to link them together. So for number 3, point number 3, molecules, that are larger than the pores, in the phospholipid bilayer, and the channel proteins. So if something is very large, if something is very large, so in this case, it's not small at all, and even we don't care whether it is polar or non-polar, and the only criteria or characteristic is that it's very large. If something is very large, it cannot pass through the phospholipid bilayer, of course, because just like you cannot just think that this very big thing is the ball, and you doing the bowling, 打保齡球, so you just say very big ball, and then boom, to crush on the phospholipid bilayer, and then penetrate the cell membrane and go into your cell. So probably your cell is damaged. So the large substance cannot pass through, directly through the phospholipid bilayer. And also, it doesn't fit, the shape of the channel protein. It doesn't fit, it doesn't fit to the shape of the carrier protein as well. So probably this way, phospholipid bilayer, sorry, you cannot. For the channel protein, sorry, you cannot. And also for the carrier protein, also you cannot. So how can they get into your cell? Probably for point number 3, you may simply learn that if the molecules are so big, they cannot move across the cell membrane. That's the simple idea up till now. Because after this part, these sections, we will learn something about how can a cell to uptake or to remove, something very large. But at this moment, you need to learn something about the differential permeability, according to the size of the molecules, according to the nature of the molecules. Okay, so you can understand. Okay, you can point out which molecules can pass through the cell and which molecules cannot pass through the cell membrane. Okay, so I give you some example here. Okay, for your reference. For the small or polar molecules or small and non-polar molecules. Okay, so small and polar. Okay, few examples. Okay, because maybe in the MC question or even the long question, I will ask you if you have something. Okay, can they pass through the cell membrane directly, or do they need any carrier protein or the channel protein to have that? Okay, so small and polar molecules, for example, water. For example, ions. Okay, so this kind of things, or glucose. Okay, so they cannot. I say again, they cannot pass through the phospholipid bilayer directly. So they need channel protein and they need carrier protein. Okay, carrier. Right? And for the small but non-polar molecules, 一啲細粒但冇極性嘅嘢。An example for us: oxygen, carbon dioxide, any other. Okay, for example, vitamin. I spell the whole word for you in case you do not know how to spell vitamin. Okay, vitamin A, vitamin D, and vitamin E. Okay, such examples. Okay, they are very common. Okay, and you need to understand. Okay, why they can or cannot pass through the phospholipid bilayer directly. Okay, and how can they interact with the membrane proteins, especially the channel proteins and the carrier proteins.
PPAP. I have a pen, I have an apple, apple pen, I have a